Hold on to your seats. Tonight, right in your living room, we're ripping open the most explosive scandal since the paparazzi realized the Kardashians could cry for clicks. Because behind the flashing cameras and reality TV glitz lies a story so wild it makes soap operas look like gentle bedtime stories. We're talking about Blueface and Chrisean Rock. Yes, that duo. And how they're not just starring in a show on Zeus Network, they're allegedly exposing it. Leaks have surfaced. Secrets are spilling. Cameras once pointed outward are now capturing chaos unfolding inward. Picture this: a media empire built on unfiltered drama. Behind closed doors, the contracts get stapled. Cameras pick up voices you weren't meant to hear. Deals get twisted until they snap. And suddenly, two stars decide they've had enough. They say, we're flipping the script. If this were a heist film, it'd be titled, The Network That Betrayed Its Own. The kind of mess that makes production assistants sweat, and viewers grin like they're watching a car crash in slow motion. One-liner for the ages: if reality TV were a roller coaster, this is the moment it left the tracks, and we're diving deep. The good news, you can close this video whenever you like. The bad news, you won't. Because the leaks, the allegations, the boardrooms shaken like snow globes, they're drawing you in. By the time we're done, you'll know what Zeus Network really stands for, why Blueface and Chrisean didn't just join, they're taking over. And the aftermath will ripple through the industry like lightning on a clear night. Ready? Let's roll. The internet didn't just wake up, it went into cardiac arrest. The day Blueface and Chrisean Rock decided to air out Zeus Network's dirty laundry, social media turned into a live-action courtroom. Feeds froze, comment sections combusted, and hashtags started breeding like rabbits. Nobody was ready, but everybody tuned in. This wasn't a scandal. It was a digital revolution. Zeus Network had long bragged about being the home of uncensored reality. Translation, where chaos gets a camera crew. It was the Las Vegas of entertainment. No rules, no morals, just flashing lights and broken dreams. And who better to headline their madness than Blueface, the king of calculated chaos, and Chrisean Rock, the hurricane with a heart. Together they made TV so volatile it should have come with a safety warning. The problem? The show wasn't just about them anymore. It was using them. What started as a paycheck turned into a psychological battlefield. Behind every explosive scene was a producer with a stopwatch and a contract clause that said, suffering equals views. Chrisean started hinting that things were off, saying she was being pushed too far, not getting paid right, and that Zeus had more control than God. Viewers thought she was just venting, until she dropped that line that stopped hearts everywhere. They got my ID, I can't even leave set. Suddenly, the internet didn't see a TV star. They saw a hostage. Blueface played it cool at first, but his silence said more than words ever could. Then he tweeted, "They can't control me. I'm the network now." And just like that, the internet crowned him the rebel king of reality TV. The leaks began spilling faster than Zeus could issue NDAs. Screenshots, voice notes, and blurry video clips flooded Twitter, painting a picture of a network that didn't just film chaos. It manufactured it. One screenshot allegedly showed a producer telling an editor, "Cut the empathy and keep the crazy." Another message read, "She cried too early, make her cry again at the reunion." Fans went feral. Commentary YouTubers released 40-minute deep dives before breakfast. Memes popped up faster than Zeus could delete comments. And the narrative shifted. Blueface and Chrisean weren't troublemakers. They were whistleblowers. When Chrisean went live crying, saying that they made me fight, they made me scream, and now they mad I'm talking, it broke the internet in half. Fans flooded Zeus's page, calling it the Hunger Games with better lighting. Blueface doubled down, calling out executives directly, saying they turned pain into profit, and now they mad the receipts came with interest. That one line became a cultural weapon. Screenshots of it spread across Instagram like wildfire. By nightfall, the hashtag ZeusExposed hit millions of mentions. Subscribers canceled in protest. Other cast members started speaking up, admitting the network pushed them into violent situations for storylines. Zeus tried to calm the storm with a PR post full of vague corporate nonsense about mutual respect and artistic collaboration. It backfired spectacularly. The comments were brutal. Mutual respect? Y'all treat people like Wi-Fi passwords. Within 48 hours, Blueface and Chrisean had gone from Zeus's biggest moneymakers to its biggest threat. Every major gossip page picked it up. Every commentary channel uploaded their final thoughts, knowing full well there would be nothing final about this. The Empire of Chaos had just been challenged by the monsters it created, and if Zeus thought it could spin this into a storyline, it underestimated the power of exposure. Because what started as two people breaking their silence was quickly turning into something bigger, a rebellion against an entire network built on humiliation. Blueface and Chrisean weren't just trending. They were transforming into the faces of resistance with one message echoing through every timeline. We made the show. Now we're ending it. The next morning, the internet woke up like it had been hit by a lightning bolt. Zeus Network was burning and everyone had front row seats. The hashtags were multiplying, memes were mutating, and commentary channels were treating this like the Super Bowl of celebrity meltdowns. Nobody was talking about who wore what or who dated who anymore. The conversation had evolved. The people wanted justice, gossip, and a little blood. Preferably in 4K, Zeus went silent for a day, and that silence was louder than any statement. In the vacuum, fans became journalists, influencers became activists, and chaos became currency. One anonymous source claimed that Zeus had unpaid crews, ghost contracts, and manipulated mental breakdowns for ratings. Another claimed that producers told Blueface and Chrisean, "The more you fight, the more you eat." That quote alone spawned thousands of retweets and a wave of outrage memes with captions like, "reality TV or psychological warfare." It didn't take long for other celebrities to jump in. Cardi B tweeted, "If you gotta lose your soul for a show, you ain't the star, you the storyline." Nicki Minaj commented on a gossip post with a cryptic line, "They love to play God till the angels talk." Even 50 Cent, self-proclaimed troll king, reposted a meme of Blueface sitting on Zeus's throne, captioned, "When your employees become your bosses." The shade was biblical. Meanwhile, YouTube commentary channels went into overdrive. Thumbnails screamed things like "Zeus exposed, full breakdown, Blueface and Chrisean burned down the network," and reality TV's dirty little secret. Views skyrocketed. Some creators were dropping 3 videos a day just milking this saga, and fans ate it up like scandal-flavored popcorn. It wasn't just entertainment anymore, it was retribution theater. Then, the first major twist hit. A leaked email surfaced, allegedly from Zeus's PR department, instructing staff to limit Blueface and Chrisean visibility and control the narrative at all costs. The subject line read, "Crisis management, the stars have gone rogue." It spread across social media like wildfire. The leak confirmed what everyone suspected. Zeus wasn't panicking privately. It was fighting for its life publicly. Blueface wasted no time responding. He posted on X, "If you gotta control the narrative, you already lost it." Within minutes, his tweet went viral. Chrisean doubled down with a quote tweet, "They wanted to own me, but forgot I don't do leases." It was like digital poetry, the kind that burns reputations and sells merch. Both stars were feeding the frenzy, and Zeus was the carcass being picked clean by the internet's vultures. The memes evolved into mock advertisements. Zeus Network, now featuring lawsuits and lies. Or subscribe today, we'll exploit your trauma tomorrow. TikTokers stitched scenes from the show with dramatic music, turning every argument into a social commentary masterpiece. Suddenly, Crazy in Love wasn't just a show, it was a case study in exploitation. Fans who once laughed at the fights were now saying, "Damn, were we part of the problem?" But the drama wasn't done cooking. Another bomb dropped. A 30-second clip leaked from behind the scenes. It showed Chrisean yelling off camera, "I said I don't want to do this," followed by a producer replying, "We need you emotional, it's part of your arc." The video hit every platform like a thunderclap. It wasn't gossip anymore. It was evidence. Comment sections turned into war zones. Half the audience screamed, "Exploitation!" while the other half shouted, "You signed the contract!" Zeus fans and haters battled in real time, and the network's reputation got shredded like old paperwork. Influencers began posting reaction breakdowns of the leaked clip, pausing every frame like it was the Zapruder film. The verdict was unanimous. Zeus wasn't producing shows. It was producing pain. And right when the fire seemed at its peak, Blueface turned up the gas. He went live again, cigar in hand, smirking, and said, "They thought they were puppeteers, but the puppets learned to pull strings too." Boom. That sentence became the headline of the day. Every major entertainment outlet picked it up. TMZ, Hollywood Unlocked, The Shade Room. It was over for Zeus's image as the rebellious indie network. Now they looked like the villains of their own movie. Within 48 hours, more ex-Zeus stars started speaking up. One claimed producers withheld her pay until she agreed to fight on camera. Another said they were told to make chaos or be cut. Each story made Zeus look worse. It wasn't just a scandal anymore, it was a rebellion. The house of cards was collapsing, and the stars were holding the receipts. Sponsors began quietly backing out. Brand deals evaporated. Even fellow networks started throwing subtle shade, posting ads like "stream drama, not damage." The industry could smell blood, and Zeus was bleeding credibility. Then Chrisean dropped the quote heard round the world. "They made me crazy for views. Now they scared I'm sane enough to speak." It was part confession, part revolution. That one sentence got plastered on shirts, fan edits, and protest-style TikToks. It was the moment the audience realized the real story wasn't about fights or fame. It was about power. Zeus's next move was predictably desperate. They released a clarification statement. It was full of legal fluff about creative direction and talent collaboration. But the damage was irreversible. The top comment summed it up perfectly. "This sounds like ChatGPT wrote your apology." The internet had spoken. The chaos reached peak absurdity when Blueface dropped a freestyle titled "Leaked," spitting bars about NDAs, hidden cameras, and contracts in blood. It wasn't a lyrical masterpiece, but it didn't have to be. It was revenge wrapped in rhythm. Fans quoted it like scripture. "They filmed my pain for pay. I turned that pay into flames." At this point, the scandal had become entertainment evolution, reality TV eating itself alive. Blueface and Chrisean didn't just expose Zeus. They turned the spotlight around. For once, the cameras weren't focused on their chaos. They were focused on the chaos around them. By the week's end, Zeus Network's silence had become its loudest confession. The same machine that thrived on drama was now being destroyed by it. Every headline screamed betrayal. Every feed scrolled like an obituary. The question wasn't whether Zeus could recover. It was whether it deserved to. But the story wasn't done. Because when an empire falls, the aftershocks always come for everyone standing nearby. The internet had tasted blood, and it wasn't going to stop scrolling. The storm didn't die down. It evolved. What started as Zeus Network's worst PR week turned into a full-blown industry reckoning. Suddenly, everyone from producers to podcasters was talking about exploitation, control, and the dark art of turning human suffering into premium content. The same network that once bragged about being unfiltered was now a case study in how fast power collapses when people start telling the truth. Blueface and Chrisean weren't just trending, they were rewriting the rules of reality television. By now, the Zeus offices must have felt like a haunted mansion. Emails leaked, staff quit, and ex-employees whispered stories about sleepless nights and keeping talent in line. Fans who used to watch for entertainment were now watching for evidence. Even the loyal subscribers started refunding en masse. Twitter, or whatever Elon's calling it this week, turned into a 24-hour protest zone. Shocker, boycott Zeus was on fire, and memes became digital Molotovs. One viral post showed Zeus's logo sinking like the Titanic, with Blueface and Chrisean rowing away in a golden boat labeled Truth. The symbolism wasn't subtle. Meanwhile, Blueface played the villain-turned-hero role perfectly. Every post was sharp, cocky, and quotable. "They sold my chaos, now I'm selling my peace," he wrote, and that one line alone hit 5 million views. Chrisean kept things raw and emotional, dropping cryptic messages like, "When you stop letting them edit your pain, they call you difficult." Fans treated her like a survivor of a media war zone, the woman who went through the machine and lived to expose it. Together, they flipped the script that Zeus had written for them. They were no longer the clowns in the circus. They were the ones burning down the tent. The mainstream media couldn't ignore it anymore. TMZ ran daily updates. Rolling Stone called it reality TV's Day of Reckoning, and YouTube talk shows started comparing Zeus to a digital Hunger Games. Every interview, every podcast clip added fuel to the fire. And Zeus's carefully crafted image, rebellious, independent, for the culture, cracked into dust. Fans realized the culture they'd been sold wasn't empowerment. It was exploitation dressed in designer chaos. Even other reality stars started speaking out. People from other Zeus shows began confessing that they were forced to act out or pressured into fights. Former contestant revealed she signed a contract that allowed producers to use her image in perpetuity, meaning forever, even after she quit. Another said she was paid in installments only if she created enough viral moments. The internet didn't need lawyers to interpret that. It screamed manipulation. The flood of testimonies turned one scandal into an entire movement. Zeus tried to fight back, but every attempt backfired harder than the last. They released a video statement full of corporate jargon. "We remain committed to our creative partners," which immediately got roasted. One commenter wrote, "You mean your unpaid employees?" Another, "Y'all turned trauma into a subscription plan." Within hours, their apology video had more dislikes than views. The empire that built itself on attention was now drowning in it. Sponsors started jumping ship. Streaming partners backed out. Advertisers ghosted them like bad Tinder dates. Even social media platforms quietly throttled Zeus's content. Less exposure, fewer recommendations. The numbers were ugly. What used to be viral now felt radioactive. But here's the plot twist no one expected. While Zeus collapsed, Blueface and Chrisean's brands exploded. They started teasing their own production company, promising real reality. The tagline? "We own our story." That single sentence sent chills through the industry. They were no longer talent for hire. They were independent entities, producing their own chaos, but this time for themselves. Their social media pages turned into promo campaigns for their comeback. Clips of their new beginnings hit millions of views within hours. The irony was delicious. Zeus created the monster that devoured it, and the ripple effect didn't stop there. Competing networks suddenly started adding mental health clauses and cast protection protocols to their contracts. Influencers started asking to review edit rights before filming. The old sign your life away for clout model was dying in real time, and the whole internet was watching its funeral with popcorn. Meanwhile, Zeus tried one last desperate move. They teased a new show. The trailer dropped with zero context, just a title card that said, "The truth behind the drama." But instead of hype, it sparked memes. Zeus making a documentary about their own downfall is the most Zeus thing ever, one user wrote. Another said, "They turned public humiliation into a content genre." It was official. Nobody took the network seriously anymore. Blueface and Chrisean, though, were thriving on the ruins. Blueface dropped another freestyle. This one's smoother, colder, more calculated. He rapped about NDAs, exec meetings, and contracts signed in invisible ink. Chrisean, on the other hand, released a short vlog where she walked through her old Zeus set. Empty now, whispering, "They wanted me to break. I did, but I rebuilt." It was cinematic, raw, and haunting. Fans called it the mic drop moment. By this point, even Zeus's biggest critics had to admit it. The Chaos couple had pulled off the impossible. They'd weaponized their own scandal and turned it into freedom. The very people the network tried to control had become the ones controlling the narrative. And as the dust began to settle, one question echoed across every platform. If this is what happens when the stars take back their power, what happens to the industry that depends on them staying powerless? The answer was obvious. The game had changed. Reality TV would never be the same again. The networks couldn't go back to pretending their unscripted shows weren't Frankenstein projects built from exploitation and editing tricks. Viewers couldn't go back to watching with blind eyes. Zeus tried to delete its past, but the internet never forgets. The clips, the leaks, the live streams, they're permanent. The digital receipts are immortal. Every time someone searches Zeus Network drama, this story will pop up like a ghost. Blueface and Chrisean's names are now engraved in the timeline of pop culture rebellion. In the end, Zeus didn't just lose a show, it lost its soul. Blueface and Chrisean didn't just expose the network. They exposed an entire system built on chaos disguised as entertainment. They didn't walk away as victims. They walked away as architects of a new era, because the real secret they leaked wasn't about contracts or producers or even money. The real secret was this: the moment you stop letting someone else tell your story, you become unstoppable. And that's the kind of reality no network can ever edit out. And that, my beautifully nosy people, is how an entire network got cooked, served, and eaten alive by the same stars it tried to control. Zeus Network built its empire on other people's drama, and now that empire's the headline of its own downfall. Blueface and Chrisean didn't just spill tea. They poured the whole boiling pot over the internet, and we're still wiping the steam off our screens. But before you sprint off to repost your favorite meme or DM this video to your messy best friend, Do your civic duty for the gossip gods. Smash that like button like it owes you money. Hit subscribe so hard that YouTube files an incident report. Turn on notifications because around here we don't sleep. We refresh. Every week, another scandal drops, another celebrity cries, and another network learns what happens when receipts meet revenge. Now drop your theories in the comments, because I know you've got opinions. Did Blueface and Chrisean plan this whole thing as a masterclass in clout? Or did Zeus really push too far and get caught in its own trap? Whose side are you on, the rebels or the ringmasters? Say it loud, say it petty, say it proud. I'm reading every single one. Because on Goosip Flow, we don't whisper rumors. We scream them into the algorithm. We don't sip tea, we shotgun it. So stay tuned, stay scandalous, and remember, fame fades. Receipts don't. The truth always leaks, the drama never dies. And your next obsession is already trending. This is Goosip Flow, where lies get exposed, egos get roasted, and the mess is always served extra hot. See you in the next storm.